2 minutes till broadcast.
What's up, guys? Welcome into the show. Getting everything up and going here. Hang tight as we try and get everything up and rolling. How was Election Day for you? Yeah. Is that a rhetorical question? How was Election Day for you? Oh, man, we got a lot to talk about today. Of course. Oh, yeah, there we go. Getting everything up and going on the live stream, sir. Welcome in, guys. Everything up and going here on OpsLens, on the Next Gen USA, on our sites, on our website, Podbean, whatever. Happy post-election day, although that's kind of not accurate since we still have some elections that are going on across the nation right now. We'll get into those, get your thoughts on those, on how everything went. Also, bottom of the hour, we have Scott Cleland. He is an author. He is also the head of Restore Us Institute, restoring humanity online, fighting tyranny on the interweb. So we'll have some fun with that conversation here in a little bit as well. Man, big stuff going on. And I think, is it still ongoing? Joe Biden's holding a press conference right now, the post-midterm election press conference that the president normally does. Should we jump into it? You think we should? I don't know.
30 seconds till broadcast.
All right. If you are on the social media, we love you guys. Welcome in. Like it out, share it out, leave a comment, say hi. Just hit the like button or share it on your own feed. If you do, we appreciate that. Break that algorithm on social media. Let's get people to see this. We got a lot to talk about today. Let's have some fun. Hang tight.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Fighting for freedom every day.
You as the individual, you have the power. You don't have to join a union. You go in as an entry-level position. You get the experience that you need. And then as you work up, you get better at your job, which means they pay you more. If they don't pay you more, then you go to another company to show what you've learned and what your value is to where you can get more. If they really don't like that, then you can go and start your own damn business because we have a free market, laissez-faire capitalist society, allegedly, to where you can actually go off and do your own thing.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Darn right it is. Welcome into the program. It is a Wednesday, the post Monday, the pre Friday, and the post-election day. Although that's hard to say because we still have some elections ongoing across the nation. What a day it was yesterday. I am running on about 3 hours of sleep, which is most people that are in the media covering election time. But we love it. That's what we live for every day. So, hey, not going to complain. We are ready to rock and roll for another one. It is the Voice of Reason. I am Andy Hooser. Happy Wednesday to you. Broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas on our flagship radio station. We are all over the country. Radio, TV, live streaming, podcasting, however you watch or listen to the show. Welcome aboard. We love you to death. Your Millennial General reporting for duty like we do every single day. Obviously, there is more to talk about than what we have time for in a 1-hour program, but we will do our darndest like we do every single day. First off, how was the election in your area? I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear how the election went or didn't go so well in your vicinity. It's frustrating. First off, we have to admit the red wave did not happen. We got maybe a red ripple, but not the red wave that we were expecting or that we were wanting. Whether you want to call it fraudulent, I don't know. There are some sketchy issues going on, especially in the state of Arizona. I still think something weird happened in Pennsylvania because, let's be honest. Can we be honest, please? Just you and I chit in the chat here. Who in their right mind would actually vote for someone like John Fetterman? Could we just, not to mention that the governor's race in Pennsylvania went hard Democrat, and one of the House districts actually went so far Democrat that a deceased elected official that died over a month ago ended up winning with like 85% of the vote. They now have to go up to a special election in December as well. So we have that. We have a runoff election going on in Georgia. We have the uncertainty with only like 65% of the vote being counted in the state of Arizona because of technical issues down there. It is concerning. We have 2 close to call races in Arizona and in Las Vegas and in other places. So we'll read all those here in just a little bit. Do we do this? I don't know that we do it. I have limited time, and I don't know if I want to waste it on here, but at the same time, I guess it's kind of important to see what he's saying. Normally, historically, the president of the United States gets on and does kind of a post-midterm election recap and takes questions from the media. Biden doesn't usually take questions from the media because he doesn't know how to answer the questions nor actually say their names. However, he is doing it live right now, so let's see what he's saying for just a second, shall we?
Let's go into the Biden basement.
Thank you very, very much. We'll do another.
No, okay.
We'll do another hour a little later.
Oh, we'll do another hour in a little bit. All right, there you go. So actually, we caught him right at the end of it. That's all right. I didn't want to hear from him anyways. To heck with you, Joe Biden. You didn't do it for very long, so there was the Biden basement for you. You're welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Let's go into the Biden basement.
There it is. We wrapped that up. Thank God. He saved us from our ears bleeding. So you're welcome. We caught that right at the end of it. Let's get into what's trending today. What do you say?
What's trending today?
First and foremost, those that have been following these races, there's still a toss-up right now in the state of Arizona. We're going to start there for our races as the governor's race. Katie Hobbs, the Democrat, is still slightly over Carrie Lake with roughly 5,000 vote difference right now, 50.1% to 49.9%. Oh, yeah, 67% reporting in according to the Associated Press right now. That is a tight one. Now, this is the same state, mind you, that had Maricopa County early on yesterday that had, 60 or 80 different precincts that had ballots that were printed that were not printed dark enough with their printers because for some reason they were out of ink in all 80 precincts or 60 precincts or whatever the hell it was. And they also had 20% of their electronic voting machines go down early on yesterday while they say that there's nothing crazy or weird going on here. So, you only had 2 years to prepare since the last election, but all of a sudden you have issues on election day like you had no clue. It was totally out of the blue. We had no clue it was coming up today. It came up on us and we didn't have any time to prep. In the Senate race for Arizona as well, we do have the Democrat Margaret Kelly up slightly, sitting at 51.2% in that race in Arizona. But again, nothing's been called because only 67% has been reported in. That is a concern. Those of you living in Arizona, and I know I have a lot of listeners in Arizona through the podcast listenership because you come up in my top 5 states of downloads every single month. So we love you guys down there. Keep an eye on these things and email me, HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. and let me know what you're seeing down there and if there is a cause for concern. There's a greater issue that happened as well, and we'll get to some of these other ones, including like the state of Georgia. Let's go here for just a second. Obviously, the big race was the Senate race. The governor's race, big win there for Governor Brian Kemp. Don't have to worry about her. Stacey Abrams hopefully is out of the picture now, and we can finally get back on track with Republicans at the statewide level there. So that's good news. And maybe, just maybe, we'll see the end of Stacey Abrams, the soon-to-be rock star of the Democrat Party that has failed miserably in her election twice in a row now from the same individual that couldn't get her you-know-what together to try and make it happen. I wonder if the Democrats will still hold her up to be the new rock star of the party. I'm sure that she's going to get, some type of commentary contract for MSNBC or CNN, or she's going to get into the Biden administration somehow so she can just bypass the evil racist red state that is Georgia, and that way she can run for president down the road if she is the secretary of basket weaving under the Biden administration. I don't know. If that's what they do, then that shows their real sign of desperation. Beto O'Rourke also lost devastatingly in the state of Texas for his, and he's supposed to be the other rock star at the same front. Nonetheless, the big race that is still lingering, as we do not have a guide yet on what the leadership may look like in Washington, D.C. As we close the gap in winning the House of Representatives, we are still up in the air in the Senate. Good news in Ohio, since we did flip that one with Tim Ryan over to J.D. Vance, the Republican there. I think that largely had to do with Donald Trump showing up before election night, maybe pushing that one just over the edge a little bit. But Ohio, man, you guys rocked it. You guys had red seats all across the board. Mike DeWine, maybe a little bit of a moderate candidate down there for governor, but dominated with like a 23-point margin. So that's insane for a governor, and all the down ballot tickets that I saw in Ohio. Kudos to you guys. I applaud you in the state of Ohio. Well done on that one. Georgia, however, we're now going to see a runoff. And between what happened in Georgia and what happened right here in my state with the state of Kansas, I am, and I'm trying to keep my cool. Angry Andy doesn't need to come out today because, we're just going to cover what needs to be covered here. But Angry Andy's going to peek out just a little bit. I am becoming to detesting third-party independent candidates more and more. I'm almost detesting third-party candidates as much as I do unions right now. I'm just saying. Driving me nuts. If you want something substantially done in any way, shape, or form, stop voting third-party. Andy, I'm voting my principles. Your principles mean nothing when you just elected someone that's further on the other side of you than what it is. So, for example, the race in the Senate has the Republican and the Democrat, Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker. Warnock is up 49.4% to 48.5%. There is a 40,000 vote difference between the two. 1.941 million to 1.906 million. A 40,000 vote difference between the Republican and the Democrat, which means now they go off to a runoff in the month of December. The outlier that disrupted the entire thing was the none other than Libertarian Party candidate Chase Oliver that got 2% of the vote. Obviously, such a close race. He totally could have done it this time. The third parties, but they're really going to make it this time. You just got to try. Got to fight that two-party system, which I get. Two-party systems suck. It's here. It's the reality. We have to acknowledge it, live with it, and we have to try and change things from within because right now we are our own destruction. The Libertarian Party that will overwhelmingly 80% of the time go with conservative values got 2% of the vote. Obviously, such a close race for them to try and steal it, and 80,000 votes. Now, I can't guarantee, but I would, being a betting man that I am, kind of, sort of, not really, I would bet somewhat amount of money that out of those 80,000 votes, probably 60% of them would go Republican if they had to, because they realize Republicans, for the most part, 60 to 70% of the time, more go in line with libertarian values than what the Democrat Party does. So, I ask you, third-party voter, in the state of Georgia, did voting libertarian make you feel good and proud that you went off the cliff holding your flag held high because you're a purist and you want everything or nothing at all? Does it make you feel good and make you feel better that you did that? Because if you are on the libertarian side and a Democrat ends up getting into office, does that more in line with what you do and what you want as opposed to what the Republican potentially could have? Again, I don't like the two-party system. I think it's a horrible system. We weren't supposed to have any parties. We weren't supposed to have a two-party system. The fact of the matter is that we do, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. That is realism. That is the real world. So, voting libertarian makes you feel good on the inside, but it ruins everybody else's chances to do anything productive on the outside. Now we go off to the runoff, so the question is, the libertarian voters in the state of Georgia, will they just not show up and turn out because to hell with the two-party system and those candidates because they're both equally evil, or will they go, and which side will they go to? I think Herschel Walker still pulls out the election in Georgia. I think we do still win it, but it's going to be a more difficult time. And you already had the Republican base, Herschel Walker. Here's my, here's my opinion. Take it as you live, because I know Herschel Walker's totally listening to this program right now. You already have your Republican base summed up. You need to find a way to reach out and win over the majority of those libertarian voters to get them to go to your side. That's what you have to do. You have to pander to them because they want the special treatment, because that's what third-party voters want. I'm a little bit bitter right now just because the same thing happened here in the state of Kansas with our governor's race. We won Republican tickets down the ballot for every other statewide race. Our attorney general, our secretary of state, our congressional seats, our state treasurer, our insurance commissioner, all of them went hard red with a very easy margin overall. Our governor's race, we lost by 1.5% in the state of Kansas to a Democrat, with the independent candidate, who is a former Republican in our state legislature, a solid conservative guy, jumped in as an independent and got 2% of the vote when we lost by 1.5%. Tell me how that makes sense. Again, and I ask you in Kansas, feel better? You feel good about yourself? I stuck it to the man, Derek Schmidt, because he's a moderate and he's not a good candidate. Okay. I'm glad. So now we have a Republican legislature with a Democrat governor, making it more difficult to get anything done, as opposed to getting a Republican in, a soft Republican in, and then pushing them further to the right with a hard Republican legislature. Do you feel better about yourself? Come on, man. Let's use some common sense when he goes into the election. I'm not telling you how to vote. I'm just trying to bring some logic into the elections. Luckily, though, we did see some big wins. Obviously, like we said, with the state of Ohio, we did relatively well. There is a concern, though. And the concern is what we try to focus on a little bit on this program, being one of them myself with a millennial, is the direction the millennial and the Gen Z vote went overall in this election, according to Breitbart. I only have a little bit of time before we have to take a break here. So I'll just read this headline real quickly, and then we'll kind of break it down when we come back. Voters between the age of 18 to 29 years old. I'm slightly above that. We'll just go with that for a second. Voters between the age of 18 to 29 years old cast their ballots majoritively and vastly in the favor of Democrats by the margin of 63% in the 2022 midterm elections, compared to the 35% within that age group that voted Republican. Why? Is that a concern? The young generation that will be taking on the issues of the day, one of the largest voting bases that will be coming up, and the older generation that's predominantly Republican that unfortunately is starting to age and die out. How do we maintain the survival of the Republican Party long term? We'll do some of that when we come back here. Stay right here on a Wednesday for the Voice of Reason.
Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Andy Hooser here, reminding you not only can you listen to the Voice of Reason on your favorite radio station, but also check out the video of the program on TV and online. We're excited to be working with our partners over at OpsLens to bring the Voice of Reason live every day on their website at opslens.com, on the OpsLens app that you can download on any of your smartphones, or on any of the OpsLens social media. It's a great network that broadcasts multiple shows promoting truth, reason, and common sense, reaching thousands of viewers every day, all day long. Plus, while you're there, you can always watch some of the best highlights of the show during the weekends or read our latest opinion columns on topical issues of the day. Also, if you want to interact with me during the program, just leave a comment on their social media or the OpsLens app stream. You can always join the live chat rooms, or if it's easier, just email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, that's HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. This is your show, and we want to hear from you. Why? Because it's time for you to be your own voice of reason in your own community. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You want some more reason throughout the day? Well, now it's easier than ever to find. Here's what you do. Check out the website at HooserReason.com. Here you can find past shows, links to all of our social media, special features, our monthly blogs, and a heck of a lot more. Plus, make sure to check in frequently, as we're constantly working to add more goodies that you'll really enjoy. Also, you can always subscribe and follow our social media sites for bonus content, articles that we use on the show, or maybe some additional rants. Yeah, it's all that and so much more. Check it all out at HooserReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. The show's growing all the time, and as we talk about the big issues of the day, one of the big parts of the program is you. And I want you to join us on the program. Whether you agree, disagree, or just want to relieve some of that political frustration, we're here for you. No matter where you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, go ahead and leave a comment on the live stream. Chat with other listeners and let me know your thoughts on the topic. Also chat with us on the Podbean chat room. Just go to our live stream of the show at podbean.com and chat with other listeners. You can also call into the program. Just download the Podbean app onto your smartphone, join the live stream, and call in through the app. This is your show, and we want to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and join us here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hooserholic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com. For a schedule of upcoming guests on the program, daily show topics, or to reach out to the Hooser Media Network, visit us on the website at HooserReason.com. Or for general inquiries, to be a guest on the program, or to have Andy a guest on your program, email us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Keep fighting for freedom with us every day right here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network. Now, back to the show.
Bring some reason into your day. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Reason, common sense, rationale, that's what it's all about here on the show. Welcome into the program. Thanks for hanging out. We love you to death. Always a pleasure. I got a little angry towards the end. I'm not angry, though. I'm actually excited. I know it wasn't as big as of a red wave as what we think, but you know me, I'm the eternal optimist. I always see the bright side on things. I still think we're going to win the Senate. It's not as easy as what we wanted, but come on, do we honestly want everything to be easy? I can sense some people wanting to smack me right now. Andy, come on. We just need to get this done. I know. Do we really want it to be easy, though? Make it a challenge. Make it a challenge. Now, it is concerning to me how many insane people are out there voting for the other side of the aisle with the insanity that's going on right now. I love the memes that were floating around before Election Day saying, before you go and vote, go buy some groceries, go fill up your gas tank, go look at your 401k, go see how expensive things are, and then go and vote. Because you can, and you can't, it's not politics, it's just common sense and facts. You can look at every economic disaster in this nation over the last year and a half, 2 years, and you can put it blamely solely onto the Biden administration and the Democrat Party. So if you like that, then that's cool. I guess you can continue to vote that way. That's what you want to do. But if you don't like that, then there's a very simple solution, which is to change that rhetoric. Here's the problem, though. And I read this yesterday on Election Day, is that historically, since 1938? Since all the way back to the 1930s, historically, the party that is in leadership, the presidency, normally and historically, the elections go the other direction in the midterms because people are angry. We can never, it's never consistent. So the party's there for a while. People get angry. The pendulum swings the other way. And then they get the momentum. Then they get stagnant. Then the other side gets it. And it's just the backwards pendulum back and forth. And normally we see the opposite party, the minority party, do really well in the midterms. And then we see the last 2 years of the presidential administration get stagnant. There was, since what they say, like 1938, we saw 3 times where the party that was in the majority gained a couple seats in the House of Representatives, and 6 times since the 1930s where they gained seats in the Senate. Other than that, every other race on average, the minority party won roughly 29 to 30 seats in the House of Representatives and 4 to 5 seats in the Senate, showing that there is frustration with the party in power. I think that we are at the stage in time between the generational makeups, between the vast partisanship, between the vast division in this nation right now. I do not think that we will see that any longer. And I think last night was a proof positive of that. We could still win these seats. We could still do relatively well. But I think that we are so divided in this nation now that you cannot win over people one side to the other. There are a few, I'm independent and I go both ways. That's cool. There are very few like that, and I don't quite understand that mentality because either you like lower taxes or you don't like lower taxes. I mean, you either like to spend more money or you don't like to spend more money. There's not a medium in between there, and it's not like, well, this program's cool, that program's cool. I mean, I guess people try to find it selective and can base it on an individual basis. I just like lower taxes across the board. I just like less government across the board, period, end of story. If the government's trying to expand it for something, it's probably bad, it's probably unnecessary, and we probably don't need to do it. Therefore, no, I'm going to vote against it or support someone who votes against it. I mean, that's just the way I am. I'm not a purist, just a rational, like, leave me the hell alone, let me live my life thing. But I think we are so divided now that we're not going to see that pendulum swing as much anymore. We're going to see the Republican base vote Republican, the Democrat base vote Democrat, and independents or libertarians or Constitutional Party or Green Party or whatever else third party that they want to be vote against the two-party system and do that. And very little change will be happening from here on out. Not to mention, as the population size continues to grow, that means cities and populated cities continue to grow in size. And you know what that means when it comes to the decision-making at a statewide level and the influence they have on state elections, making it more and more difficult for limited government, less intrusive type of mentality to prevail at a statewide level, meaning that we're going to make it more and more difficult as the years go on to vote for limited government Republican values. We'll cover some more of that when we come back here. Plus, we'll talk about some technology and how to keep the web free.
Voice
Stay
of
here.
Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You know, when I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government, censorship, and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now I'm so happy to say that the Hooser Media Network is giving you more opportunity to catch the voice of reason along with other great shows and podcasts. It's been a long time in the works, and now you can finally enjoy more great content, services, and topical shows. We're the safe space for alternative talk, information, and ideas that the mainstream media absolutely hates. From holistic and alternative medicine, discussions on religion and spirituality, pure entertainment shows, and of course yours truly with the voice of reason. Plus, we offer numerous media services, including helping you set up your own podcast, become your own voice of reason, and bring your expertise to any fun issue or topic. For information on all of our shows, links to podcasts, each show website or social media link, or to find out about everything we do to challenge the mainstream establishment, visit our website at HooserMedia.com. Again, that's HooserMedia.com, the future of media. Welcome to the Hooser Media Network. It's been a long time coming, and now it's growing bigger and better than we ever imagined. The Hooser Media Network is so much more than just the voice of reason. It's a network for you as a listener and you as a podcaster. It's a network for any kind of talk on any kind of topic, bringing podcasters together to give you a new way to think about the world, and it's any type of show from entertainment to educational. Check out all of our great programs, like Dr. Devin Verana with If They Knew.
Yeah, and it gives you tangible tools. I mean, I'm sure she just mentioned that some people might be mad at the government. I just can't imagine.
No.
I think there's a little bit of anger in the world these days, but I was listening to Wayne Dyer this morning, and he said, if you grab an orange and you squeeze it, what comes out? Juice. What kind of juice? Orange juice every time, right? It's not going to be apple juice. It's never going to be mango juice. It's always going to be orange juice. So whatever is in us is going to come out when we're squeezed. And so I'm sure you're learning that, like, taking yourself through this process continually just adds more and more power, more and more depth of compassion and joy and freedom and all those good feeling things, because you're clearing that space out.
Yes, exactly.
I love it. Now take people, so for anybody listening out there that might have an object of anger, whether it's somebody or something or, you know, objects out in the world these days, take us into some tactical, practical things that they can do. Number one, I'm sure, is to come see you, but what are some other things?
So I skipped that one on purpose when I was going through this, but the first book that changed my life, and I listened to it before I signed up for the, I listened to her 1 hour Zoom before I signed up for the class. She was interviewing a man who told us about a book called The Four Agreements. And so then when you get into the class, we study the book called Forgive for Good by Fred Luskin. And we went through a process by Michael Brown called The Presence Process. These are all 3 books. And I hate to be this honest, but let me be this honest. You can read those 3 books and know everything I'm going to teach you. But like any good class, I mean, just because I signed up for a class in college, I buy the books. You really need someone to guide you through them.
That, plus tune into Spiritual Smorgasbord with Desiree and Cheyenne.
It is, and we talked about that because then, of course, other things started to happen after that. Of course, that was not my last doctor's visit, by no means. However, you know, we talked about it, and I thought, you know, our ancestors were so smart. They know, like, whatever ails us, there's a cure for on this planet. We're just not smart enough to know how to use it, but our ancestors were. We need to get back to that. Modern medicine, basically what that is it is what you get from the plant, the healing benefit, just on steroids with side effects.
Yes.
And so a lot of people, modern medicine is considered sexy. It's fast resolving. It's instant gratification. But, and so like plant-based formula, the raw, natural plant-based formula is what is going to work. It's going to be great. It just takes a while. And people want that instant gratification.
Oh, yes.
So a lot of people try
It's been marketed
something.
to them that way too.
It
They're like,
has.
oh, that's the old way. It's going to take you forever. But if you just take this, you wake up tomorrow and you can have whatever you want.
Exactly.
You can do whatever you want.
But at what cost?
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
my leg is broken, but have some Oxycontin.
Yeah,
You know, it's
right.
like, dude, your leg is still severely broken.
Right.
You just can't feel anything.
yeah. And it's like, so let's go to nature. Let's see.
Yeah.
You know what? There's pain relievers in nature. Marijuana is a great pain reliever.
Yes.
For one. I mean, you know, just
Mentally and physically.
Yes. Well, I mean, you know, but there's other remedies out there. In everything that ails us, there's a cure for on this planet.
This whole room smells like peppermint.
We're all getting cured
We're all
now.
getting cured right now. It's a beautiful essential oil I bought from a local, I guess you could say apothecary shelf, but I'm getting healed right now.
Yes, exactly. It is. And it's all around us. We just need to know how to look for it. And I'm sorry, but that's kind of what we were discussing. And that kind of was what started this this whole journey. And what I'm very fortunate that, you know, my spouse and I are together on this. It's not just one of us having a spiritual journey. It's
Yeah.
that we're doing this together.
Listen to those shows and so much more on our website, where you can find live streaming, links to the podcast, links to social media, more content, and so much more. It's all online at HooserMedia.com.
When Reason Meets Radio. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Yes, indeed you are. Welcome back into the program. Reason, common sense, rationale. That's what we're all about here on the show. Trying to expand the thought process, unveiling the layers of the onion, going deeper into the conversation than what most talk shows do all over the place, all over the country. Radio, TV, live streaming, podcasting, multiple radio stations. We love you guys to death. Welcome aboard as we cover some of the election updates. Again, I am optimistic. I'm the eternal optimist. I still think we're going to do well. We will take the House of Representatives. We will maybe get a seat or two in the Senate. Yeah, but look, even worst case scenario, let's say that we have a 50-50 split in the Senate again, or even, God forbid, Democrats take a seat, which I do not think is going to happen. But let's just say that it's a 50-50 or Democrats have the majority in the Senate, which I guess they technically do then, too, with the tie-breaking vote from Kamala Harris. We still have the House of Representatives then, which means any ballot issue that has to go to the president has to be signed by both chambers of Congress, and therefore it is our job to call our representatives and make sure that they vote for zero Democrat policies and legislation, so that way it stays stagnant, it doesn't get through Congress, and therefore the Biden administration can't do anything. And we ride that out. It sucks. We're not getting advanced as the way we needed to. We're not moving forward the way we needed to. But you know what? It's better than them controlling both chambers, which is what they're doing right now, making things very difficult to stop anything and just sitting on the sidelines complaining about it. So let's make sure that we don't just complain about it. We can do something about it, and I think we will. Let's shift gears just for a minute here and how this may even be involved with the elections last night with some of the social media and how we battle some of this insanity on the interweb with our latest and what's trending.
What's trending today?
And the reason I say that this is tied into the election somehow, we read the headline that Generation Z, the young generation, and millennials, me being 34 years old, being part of the millennial generation, predominantly voted Democrat in the yesterday's election. Voters between 18 to 29 overwhelmingly supported Democrats across the board, 63%, according to Breitbart News, compared to 35% within that age range that voted Republican. Where do the young generation get a lot of their information? They get a lot of their information on the interweb, on social media. They are the Twitter experts, where they can talk about it with a 130-character tweet, and they know everything about it, apparently. How do we make sure that the proper content is out there? How do we make sure that we don't get censored or that we can continue to have a free internet to allow information to get out there? Really happy to have on the program. He is the author of the book Search and Destroy: Why You Can't Trust Google. He's also the founder and executive director of Restore Us Institute, Restore Humanity Online. Excited to have on the program with us here at Mr. Scott Cleland. Scott, how are you, my friend?
Doing fine. Thanks for having me, Andy.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you on the program. How far, again, I'm 34. I remember when going through elementary, we were just starting to get those massive box computers in the classroom, learning how to type on them. How far have we come from that time when we were learning how to use technology to now if you just search something, now you're in this algorithm and you're in this echo chamber and you're not allowed to branch out of that. How far have we come using the internet and social media today?
It's exponentially changed. Like when the internet really, we came to know it in 1996. Back then, like there was only one senator that used it. About a few percent of Americans used the internet, and they used it for 30 minutes a month. So when it started, it also was very slow.
Yeah.
And so to think about how the internet's changed, it was basically about 20% of our life that over the first 10 years. And then when mobile and when social media happened, probably about 50% of our life, we spent so much time looking at our phones and getting involved in things. But now with the metaverse going forward, it's basically the artificialization of everything. Artificial intelligence, artificial life, artificial everything is what the metaverse is. So it's only getting more and more immersive, more and more intrusive. And, the internet, what we do at RestoreUsInstitute.org is we're the only entity that has a kind of a holistic focus on all the internet problems and how they can be fixed holistically. And there are a ton of them, as your listeners know.
Well, talk about some of that. What does it mean to fix these things holistically? How do we get things back on? Because technology is not going to go anywhere. We obviously, like you said, technology has advanced so much that we're creating our own universe through technology by putting on, an Oculus and going into a virtual reality world now, so far away from those boxes where we used it 30 minutes a month in our time. How do we holistically get back on track here and accept technology in our lives, but yet keep it limited?
What people know out there, your listeners know how many problems there are, all the fraud, all the cyberbullying or harassment, or all the bad things that are out there. But people don't know there is a universal, a holistic root cause for all of the problems, and that is 25 years ago there was internet Wild West internet policy. I call it internet unaccountability policy now. And that is the root cause of all of the problems, because what we've been doing, for 5 administrations, 13 Congresses, and 17 Supreme Court justices, for 25 years, they have neglected to protect the American people and minors from online harms and crimes. And so, that's nuts. And so what we do, we exist to try and we have a holistic solution, which is how this happened is in 1996, the policymakers basically removed the internet from constitutional authority, and because that's the source of all government, rule of law, rights, duty of care, everything. Everything in the United States flows internationally and nationally through the Constitution. And so what we're saying is we are trying to encourage people to help us to restore constitutional authority over the U.S. internet in U.S. policy, because that is the thing that can begin to cure all of the internet problems out there. Because right now we have approved anarchy on autopilot. Yeah. And so all of the problems you see online, it's U.S. policy to allow them. Sure. It's mindless madness.
It is mindless madness. And what it seems like is that since it's a new industry, we don't know much about it. We don't know how to handle the technology since it is new, or since it's a new quote-unquote world. Like usual, the government just feels like it has to regulate it, but it doesn't quite know how to regulate it. So now it's got its iron grip on it. Is that kind of the stage that we're at right now?
Actually, no, it isn't, because they still have hands off, and they're trying through the techlash. They are trying to pass laws. But the problem is they're doing a cart before the horse. Policy comes before law, in the sense that the policy sets the essentially the purpose, the priorities, and the principles, and the law implements what's legal, what's not, and the process that goes about it. And so what we're saying is this problem is one where they just aren't minding the store. Remember, everybody in government is supposed to swear to defend and support the U.S. Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I've had to make that oath. There's about 35, 40 million Americans who have made it. All law enforcement, all lawyers, all government people, all military, all veterans. They've sworn it. And what we're doing is we're just saying, do your job. Restore constitutional authority over the internet so this mindless madness can end.
Yeah. It's a great way to do it. I love that. We're talking with Scott Cleland, the founder executive director of Restore Us Institute, which you can find online, restoreusinstitute.org. For the individual user who is concerned about privacy violations, who's concerned about tracking from Google or from every other, Facebook and their ads and the way that they censor you, or the metadata collection, for those that are concerned about this madness and the violation, the blatant violation of human rights because of all these things, how do we prevent this stuff? How do we limit ourselves? Or is it just too far, too gone, and we have to accept that?
We don't have to. We don't have to accept it. That's what Restore Us Institute is all about, because it doesn't have to be this way. Yeah. And the reason it is this way is because both parties are clawing each other's eyes out and making so much money and raising so much money from both sides online. Online advertising is how they make money.
Sure.
And how they collect it, and they're addicted to it. And so they're so busy scratching each other's eyes out, they aren't looking out for the American people at all when it comes to this. So that's what we're all about, is we're trying to bring public accountability through public education, letting people know we exist. If they don't like the way it is right now, it doesn't have to be. But the only way is when the American people basically stands up and says, enough is enough. This is nuts. And because both sides actually, left and right, actually agree on these issues more than most any other issues.
Yeah.
So where they just can't get over the politics to sit down and work on the policy
and figure out how to do it.
This is one until the public basically says enough is enough. And just at restoreusinstitute.org, they can sign the petition, which is a Declaration of Independence from unchecked technological tyranny. And when people think if they have freedom online, they don't. It's been taken from them, and they can learn how that's happened. And then we're trying to start a Mindful Many movement of basically people who want to restore internet accountability, or they can make a donation. So that's how they can make a difference.
That's how I can do it. I love it. I am so glad you guys are doing this, because it comes down to not just the way you guys are fighting, which is desperately needed, but the mindset to let people know what's going on. I seen, this was probably a year or two ago, that my generation, they said in a poll that they were willing to give up their personal information and allow the government or a corporation or whoever to see all of their private emails for a free pizza, because while they're doing it anyways, I might as well get something out of it. It's totally cool. There's a young generation that's grown up with this stuff so much they don't even know what's going on, nor do they even care about the personal privacy of this stuff. Scott, we got to take a hard break here. Can you stick over one more segment with us?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Perfect. I appreciate that. I want to continue this conversation, and I want to tie it into the elections yesterday and talk about and get your thoughts on the influence that social media and that the internet does have on the mindset of voters going into an election season, and how much that may have impacted the election results last night as well, with the content, with the echo chambers that people get in based on their trending stories and what they follow on social media and on the internet. We'll do some of that when we come back. It is a post-election Wednesday right here on The Voice of Reason. Lots more coming up. Stay here.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Andy Hooser here, reminding you not only can you listen to The Voice of Reason on your favorite radio station, but also check out the video of the program on TV and online. We're excited to be working with our partners over at OpsLens to bring The Voice of Reason live every day on their website at opslens.com, on the OpsLens app that you can download on any of your smartphones, or on any of the OpsLens social media. It's a great network that broadcasts multiple shows promoting truth, reason, and common sense, reaching thousands of viewers every day, all day long. Plus, while you're there, you can always watch some of the best highlights of the show during the weekends, or read our latest opinion columns on topical issues of the day. Also, if you want to interact with me during the program, just leave a comment on their social media or the OpsLens app stream. You can always join the live chat rooms, or if it's easier, just email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, that's HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. This is your show, and we want to hear from you. Why? Because it's time for you to be your own voice of reason in your own community. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You want some more reason throughout the day? Well, now it's easier than ever to find. Here's what you do. Check out the website at HooserReason.com. There you can find past shows, links to all of our social media, special features, our monthly blogs, and a heck of a lot more. Plus, make sure to check in frequently as we're constantly working to add more goodies that you'll really enjoy. Also, you can always subscribe and follow our social media sites for bonus content, articles that we use on the show, or maybe some additional rants. Yeah, it's all that and so much more. Check it all out at HooserReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. As we continue to grow as a radio and TV program, we're continuously working behind the scenes to try and bring more common sense and reason to more patriotic Americans all over the country. That's why we're super excited to be working with the OpsLens team to bring you the voice of reason every single day. OpsLens is a national online network bringing you incredible content all day from hosts all over the country. And each host brings their own unique experience and expertise to the current events, reaching hundreds of thousands of patriotic Americans daily. Make sure to check out their website at opslens.com. Make sure to download the OpsLens website and follow them on all of these social media sites that you like so you can watch all their live streaming content, including ours right here with the Voice of Reason. Plus, if you want more of the Voice of Reason, check out our website online at HooserReason.com. There you can listen to the live audio feed of the show every single day. You can read our monthly blog. You can check out our satire infomercials. You can see pictures of what we're doing, upcoming schedule of events, and a heck of a lot more. On the website, you can find our list of radio and TV affiliates in your area. Find our social media links, and while you're there, sign up for our free newsletter. Over the last 2 years, your Voice of Reason newsletter has grown exponentially. It's completely free, and in it, we give you your monthly motivation, upcoming civic holidays for the month, a recap from the show from last month, upcoming guests on the program, along with the latest news from our Hooser Media Network. It's pretty simple. All you got to do is go to the website at HooserReason.com and become the next Hoosier-holic. Finally, follow us on all of our social media sites. With the iron grip control on content from the radical left, unless you follow us, you're not going to be able to see us. It's been an ongoing battle with shadow banning on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, where even our own fans are having a hard time finding our content. But the battle isn't over. We'll continue to bring you the best content we can on as many platforms as possible. You can follow us with the handle at Hooser Reason. No matter what social media site you like to use, you can find us there. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch.tv, Instagram, TikTok, OurFreedomBook.com, Parler, and of course our website at HooserReason.com. Don't miss it while we give you a heads up on some of the events that I may be attending or speaking at, updates of behind-the-scene projects, or just something sarcastic to try and rile up the left. The battle for freedom is real, and we want to be part of that battle as we want you to be your own voice of reason in your own community. Conservative principles happen at the grassroots level, and that's what we're here to help with. And together, you and I can fight back against this virus that's spreading across the nation that is socialist policy, trying to destroy this country. We can bring us back to some constitutional values, some individual sovereignty, and the right for you to be able to make your own choices when you deem necessary for you, your family, and your community. In a world of fake news and information overload, it's time to bring back some reason, common sense, guidance, and a little bit of wisdom. And that's what we're here to do. This is the Voice of Reason.
Fighting for freedom every day. The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
You know, doing what we do, trying to cram that 10 pounds of reason into that 5-pound bag, trying to rebrand the millennial generation, one radio listener at a time. Welcome into the program. Always a pleasure to have you along for the ride today. We've got a lot more to cover, especially with all the election stuff, so we'll do the best that we can. Right now, we're hanging out with the man himself, Scott Cleland. He's the founder, executive director of Restore Us Institute, restoreusinstitute.org. Restore humanity online, trying to fight for your freedom. And it's such a wild concept today. You don't have to just accept the fact that the government's going to track everywhere you go with the GPS on your phone, or what you search for on your phone, or the metadata that they collect on your phone, or the social media that tries to collect everything to advertise to you and do targeted ads. And then every time you open up an app on your phone, do you want to share your location? No, I don't want to share my location to take a photo. Thank you very much. It's weird, but that's the world we live in today. Can we get it changed? That's what we're talking about right now. Also, Scott, I got to pick your brain on this. I mean, obviously the election yesterday, a big election. The red wave didn't quite happen as many expected, but still a tight race in many, many races. How much do we rely on technology, on the internet, and on factual information and real information from both sides online and on social media to make our judgment for who we're going to vote for? And the regulations and control they have on the internet right now, is that impacting how people think about political issues?
Absolutely. And it's, what this is when you have unaccountability policy, where basically, the companies have impunity to do whatever they want. That's how they became trillion-dollar companies. It's how they became, monopolies. In 2007, I testified before the Senate Judiciary Committee and said they will become a monopoly when they bought DoubleClick. 3 years later, I told the same to the House Judiciary about the other companies, that it was clear they would become monopolies. So what this policy of Wild West is, they allowed them to become just enormous. You can't even believe how big these companies are. Just to give you a sense, the top big tech four, their revenues are larger than the U.S. government's domestic budget. Their free cash flow is more than that would allow them to fund the fourth largest military in the world every year.
Wow.
That's enormous. So that's the first part of the problem, is they have so much power. The other thing is they've been delegated. They're the ones that decide what people see and don't see, and they have their own biases. They have their own angles. They certainly have a profit motive, which is fine, but they don't let you know exactly where that's going. And they also take away your freedoms. Like I say, what do you mean free? The internet's so open. Well, let me take your point about the voice of reason. This policy, I call it the regress of reason, because they're going back to a primitivist pre-government level. And that's when we had law of the jungle. That's when might was right. And that's kind of how they operate. And they're the might. They can do whatever they want. I call it's the opposite of a golden rule online, because they have no accountability. Yeah. I call it the rotten rule. Do whatever you want to others. And they do, with impunity. So what are these freedoms that you've lost, and the millennials you're talking about? Well, there's three chief tyrannies of internet unaccountability policy. The first one is it inhumanely prioritizes protecting technology over protecting people. We protect the inanimate and not the animate. Second, it unjustly grants technology impunity over people, meaning they can do whatever they want to you. And the third is it empowers technology to control and govern people without any rights, due process, or access to justice. So if you think you're free online, and you are not. You've also been dehumanized as an inanimate. You're a user, like an internet user is what you're called, and you're the product of which they sell to, and you're an avatar. But you're not a person. You're not a human. You're a commercial chattel of where your data is bought and sold online. And you are a second-class citizen because you've lost your rights with states and the states because you've been preempted by the feds here on internet policy. I can go on. People think they're free online. They are not.
They are not free,
and
it's very scary. Amen to that. Yeah, it used to be scary when people were concerned about Social Security cards when they first came out, saying that we were just a number to be a slave to the government. We're taking that and technology to an entirely new level here, and that's very scary to me. We're out of time, my friend. I could talk to you about this for hours because this is fascinating, and we need to fix this. So God bless you guys fighting this tooth and nail. It is Scott Cleland, founder, executive director of Restore Us Institute, restoreusinstitute.org. Scott, let's get you back on the program again real soon, my friend.
Please, Andy, Godspeed.
Hey, you as well, my friend. I appreciate that very much. There it is. We'll do some more election coverage tomorrow. We got lots more to get to. Also, some other great guests. Until then, be your own voice of reason. Spread that humanity. And let's change things little by little in our own communities. Be that voice of reason. This is the voice of reason. I'm Andy Hooser. We'll see you on the radio. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You know, when I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government, censorship, and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now I'm so happy to say that the Hooser Media Network is giving you more opportunity to catch the voice of reason along with other great shows and podcasts. It's been a long time in the works, and now you can finally enjoy more great content, services, and topical shows. We're the safe space for alternative talk, information, and ideas that the mainstream media absolutely hates. From holistic and alternative medicine, discussions on religion and spirituality, pure entertainment shows, and of course yours truly with the voice of reason. Plus, we offer numerous media services, including helping you set up your own podcast. Become your own voice of reason and bring your expertise to any fun issue or topic. For information on all of our shows, links to podcasts, each show website or social media link, or to find out about everything we do to challenge the mainstream establishment, visit our website at HooserMedia.com. Again, that's HooserMedia.com, the future of media.